Hey everyone, welcome to another Buick Outdoors video. I'm Sheldon Marion. Today we're going to be talking about trail cameras. So yeah, today we're going to be talking about trail cameras. It seems like ever since the first one that came out, uh, almost everybody started buying them just instantly. They are a great tool to have. They're nice to see what's in the area. If you're doing a deer management program or if you have private property, it's nice to know what's there. And then some people use them for security purposes as well. For me, I use them just to see what kind of animals are in the area, and then you can kind of pick and choose too. You can be a little selective when it comes to harvesting a certain deer, elk, or moose. So today I'm going to run through on how I pick my setups, what I use, and just proper placement, or what I would call proper placement. It's not the only way of doing it, but it's a way that works for me and what I've been using pretty well since I got my first camera, and I've been through quite a few now. So when I get a new trail camera set up, what I've been using lately is a lot of seismic lines or pipelines. Uh, they're great little trails for the animals, and they usually run fairly straight with a couple of curves and bends in them and stuff, and there's always a lot of natural coverage as well. So once I pick out a new seismic line or a pipeline to set up on, I like to pick one that's kind of between where they feed and their bedding area. That way they're already naturally just walking through. So then you're just taking pictures of them slowly walking by. But I also like to put something out for them, either some type of vegetation like oats or corn or a mineral mix. The only problem with oats and corn and peas and stuff like that is it attracts bears, and bears wreak havoc. They chase all your game out, they can chew up your cameras, and it's also illegal where I'm at here to hunt bears over bait. So I try to avoid that at all costs. It just creates problems and it's no fun. It's a lot of time, energy, and effort and money put into something that a bear comes in, he'll have it cleaned up within a couple of hours. So once you decide on which line to set up on and whereabouts to do it, always make sure that it runs kind of north to south. If it's east to west, you get a lot of the sun in your camera, and you get a lot of really distorted pictures and glare and stuff, and you can't really see all that great. And then also make sure you find a spot where you can set up your camera to face the north, especially for up here in this area, because when the sun comes up, it comes up in the east and it kind of slowly comes over the horizon in the west. So if your camera's facing south, you get a lot of the sun glare from that as well. So to give you an idea of why I face my cameras north, here's a really good example of it. So we're facing almost north, that's a little northeast, but if you were to face it to the south, so you can already see that glare right here. So every time your trail camera takes a picture, you get that glare in your camera, and a lot of times it's not too bad, but then there's also times where it's just, that's all you see is just a big blank white picture, and it kind of sucks. But anyways, yeah, that is why I point to the north, and then why you want to not point them to the east and west, because the sun comes up and down, goes up, it comes up in the east, goes down in the west, so then you get nothing but glare there as well. So next I'll talk about the height of the camera. Uh, Typically I like to put them about waist height, maybe just a little bit higher. That way when you get does and fawns coming in, you get a picture of the fawns as well. But then also if you set your bait up, if you're using it far enough away, you get the whole picture of the deer body and not just the top of their back or just their head. So you can really get a good picture of your animals coming in. If you set them too low though, I don't know if you can see this here. Oh yeah. So you end up getting some willows and fireweed and grasses and stuff that grow up. In the spring it's not real bad, but once it's kind of May, June kind of come along, you can get willows that grow this high in just a couple of weeks. So you always have to make sure you come in with clippers or a knife or a saw or something, and just kind of keep things cut down so they're not sitting there taking pictures. Because I've done it before where I just left it for 2-3 months. I came back and there's a willow branch just sitting in front of the sensor, and every time the wind would blow or whatever, it would take a picture. I had over 10,000 pictures of a willow branch. So learn from my mistake and make sure you keep up with that kind of stuff. So as I mentioned before, if you're using baits or minerals, uh, make sure you have them set up at the proper distance from your camera. Here I had a bag of just trace minerals, and you get that at your kind of co-op food store or agriculture store or whatever. And right there is where my camera is. It's about 10 yards away. And the reason why I do 10 yards is it just seems to get a really nice picture of your animal. It gets the picture right from pretty well their shin all the way up to the top of their head, and you get their horns and stuff, and you get a full body picture of them. You also can pick up on the fawns. And then with that too, it's close enough where you can have a low sensitivity on your camera, so every time the wind blows and stuff, it's not taking a picture. Also the infrared or flash, depending on what kind of camera that you're using. Most of them, they're only good for about 60 feet. So at 10 yards, that's roughly 30 feet. So and you really get really nice pictures at night as well. So in the past, I have used different minerals and attractants and feed and bait, whatever you want to call it. And you know, some things work, some things don't. Big salt blocks, they're heavy, they're awkward, they're hard to pack in. The only thing that kind of sort of likes them is moose. I've had a cow and calf hang out around here for a couple months, and they kind of lick on them, but that's about it. I've never had really any luck with elk or deer licking them. I've tried bags of like trace minerals that you can buy from any agriculture store. I've tried making my own little mixtures. Nothing really seemed to work, and then I went into the sporting store there, and I've tried different supplements and all kinds of different things. But the stuff that seems to work really good is this stuff here by Antler Obsession. It's called Trophy Mineral Mix. With this stuff here, it's actually designed and made for Canadian game. You know, a lot of stuff that you buy in the store that's in bag product like this, a lot of it is for like the southern states where they really don't have the same diet as the game up here. We have much harsher winters, and they definitely need a bit more of a boost going into the winter. With this stuff here, it gives them absolutely everything that they need. It helps promote antler growth. It gives does extremely healthy milk, and it also helps them. It's kind of almost like a prenatal vitamin for when they're pregnant as well. So this stuff here, I don't know, it's just all around good stuff, and it works too. So that's why I like to use the Trophy Mineral Mix by Antler Obsession. Alright, so if you do decide to do a mineral or a supplement or any kind of food uh, for animals, it's nice just to get real simple basic stuff. With this here, you just open up the bag, you spray it out, you pour it on the ground, and you walk away, and that's pretty well as simple as it gets. It's just like setting out oats or corn or something like that. Oh, the mosquitoes are just killing me. I'm about to fly away, I'm getting eaten so much. So with this stuff here, it kind of has a bit of a molasses in it. But you just open her up. And I like to give her a nice big spread. And that way you just get, it's a real nice big area that you get. And instead of having one deer right here eating, you can have kind of 5 or 6 kind of spread out in a big circle, and then you get a lot more pictures of a lot more deer. Hey Daisy. Yeah, and with this stuff too, like you don't have to spread it out, but that's just how I do it. That's how I use it anyways. You can just put it in just one big pile and it works great too. Hey little buddy. Watch out, dude. This stuff will get you. And make sure you always pick up all your garbage and junk. If your dogs do get into it, it's fine. It's just calcium, phosphorus, potassium, magnesium, copper, zinc, all that good stuff that's in there. I don't think it'll harm them at all. Watch out, buddy. There. And there we go. We got all of our supplements, minerals, all that good stuff set up for them. Now all we gotta do is set up the trail camera, replace the batteries, put in a new SD card, and we'll be good to go. Alright, so the trail cameras that I like to use are just the cheap little Wild Game Innovations trail cameras. I like them because they're cheap and they seem to work good for me. Some people have problems with them, but it doesn't matter really which brand or which one you buy. You know, eventually somebody's gonna have an issue with something. But from day one, I've been using these and they've been working good. I got the old one here, like really old one, and I'm not nice with these. This thing has probably spent a couple weeks inside, and I've had it for about 5 years. I bought it, went to work, came home, put it on a tree, and it's been out here ever since. Like anything else, though, it's getting a bit old and slowly kind of wearing out. So it was kind of time to replace it and maybe put it to a spot that's a little bit more easier to access than this one. This is a little bit of a hike and a drive to get in here. So I'll just put the new camera up and we'll go from there. But they come with the small little black bungee straps. I always lose them or break them. So I just go to like a Walmart or Canadian Tire and I just buy like a big jar of these bungee cords. And at first I thought, you know, deer or moose or whatever, they'd see the bungee cords, but nothing seems to really care about them. So that's what I use. So now if I do break them, wreck them, drop them, forest fire goes through, burns them up, whatever, they're cheap to replace it. I think it's like $5 for a little jar of them, and you get like 50. So that's just a nice little tip for you if you ever do lose or break the original bungee straps that come with them. I've tried zap straps before, and that just doesn't work that great. I mean, it does work, but not as good as these cheap bungee cords. Let's see, with this one here, I don't think there's much to program on this one. It takes 8 AA batteries. Just gotta set the time, which it's already done. Time if you want photo or video. And that's about it with this one. The other ones you can put the sensitivity. There's like a flex time. There's a couple other different shots and stuff. But anyways, before I start blabbering on too much. So this one here, this is pretty well just to turn it on, pick either pictures or videos, and then you set it up. And this one I think they're about 80 to 90 bucks. The one step up is about 120. But either way, they work pretty good. And again, I like to put them about waist height. That way you get the whole picture of the deer and not just the top of their head going by. If you can too, when you're putting them out, I like to put them at a bit of an angle. That way if the trigger speed is a little bit slow, as the deer's walking in, if it kind of triggers on their nose or their head, as they keep walking by, you eventually do get a full picture of them. If you're set up just on the side, it'll kind of come in, it gets a picture, or kind of senses it at its nose, and then by the time it takes a picture, it's just a picture of a butt. And then you don't know if it's a doe, buck, how big, whatever. So that's why I like to put it on a bit of an angle. And make sure it's kind of facing the right way. And there you have it. That's how I go about setting up my trail cameras. And hopefully here in the next couple of weeks I'll come back in. I'll check the camera and I'll show you guys what I have. Hey guys, before I forget, I just wanted to show you one more thing, or one more tool that I like to use just for when I'm checking trail cameras. And it's one of these, it's called the Bone View. So you put in your SD card here. It takes a regular size SD card, it takes a micro SD card. This one is for an Android. That little tip there, it does come off, so you get the attachment for an iPhone, Samsung, Google phone. But anyways, with this, it lets you look at all your pictures. You can download them onto your phone. You can delete them off the SD card. And then that way, you don't have to do what I used to do. And that was carry around a laptop with me in the bush. And all that did was wreck like a $1,500 laptop. It just destroyed it. This thing, 20 bucks. You already have your phone on you, in your pocket. It's worth the investment, trust me.